And I know once more how he sees the storm, and peace runs over me. God sees the storm from the other side. He knows the lessons learned, and just beyond the clouds he sees clear sky. He speaks peace to the raging storm when peace could not be found. He already sees the rainbow when we see only clouds. And when the storms of life come crashing in and trouble me, I can feel God's arms around me, and it whispers, let it be, let it be. Oh, God sees the storm from the other side. He knows the lessons learned, and just beyond the clouds he sees clear sky. Oh, he speaks peace to the raging storm when peace could not be found. He already sees the rainbow when we see only clouds. I've faced many mountains, been through trials and shed many tears. When I look around and it all seems hopeless, I won't fear, I won't fear. I'll be still and know you are God. You're right here with me through all my troubles. I'll be still and know you are God. You are the light and rest for my soul. You're God and I'll be still and know. When my heart feels anxious, it's your voice that calms every storm. When I find myself crying all through the night, you remind me to be still and know you are God. You're right here with me through all my troubles. I'll be still and know you are God. You are the light and rest for my soul. You're God and I'll be still and know you're a well that never runs dry. No valley too deep, no mountain too high. You are my strength be still and know.
I'll be still and know.
I'll be still and know.
It takes us to the corners of poverty in the slums of Kisumu, where young Winnie faced not only neglect but also political unrest. But she was a young girl then. Even now she's young because she's my youngest daughter too, my adopted daughter too. But instead of letting the darkness of those Kisumu slums, corners of poverty consume her, what she did, she used her education, the education she had already had, education and unyielding faith, because she had a lot of faith of what was to happen and what she hoped for. And then she used education and faith to break through the cocoon or the chrysalis. Sometimes I can't pronounce that word, excuse me, but I will say the cocoon. So she got through, and through the cocoon was broken and she got through. She now did not escape darkness as it was that time. Though she was no longer in darkness, just like the caterpillar gets out of the cocoon and flies, young Winnie Coco flew to the US and earned a doctorate of education from Northwestern University and became the leader she is today. As I read that book, I can attest to what Pastor Shiku has said. This book is a blueprint for resilience, unyielding faith, and a call to each one of you and me too for action. Because we are here because we need to act, and the action is actually urgent. Because those girls who now, after she became she now has this initiative. And behind this initiative, she is clearing paths for those girls, the deaf girls with disabilities back home. And as I read that book, it reminded me so many times, because as I opened each page and each chapter, it was a reminder of what is possible when we refuse to let our circumstances define our destiny. So with those few words, I am not a woman of the words, but with those few words, I would like to congratulate my daughter, Dr. Winnie Coco, because we are very proud of her. As I read that book, as you will read, because I know you will not go home without a copy. You buy those copies so that you can go and read it for yourself and know what I'm talking about. She's gone through so much, and I want to congratulate her because her dad believed in the little girl she was, and Mr. Coco kept on telling her the best thing she can do for herself is to invest in education. And what did she do? She did it. And even if we say Mr. Coco is the late Mr. Coco, he would have been the proudest father that this Dr. Winnie Coco, who bears his name, has done what she's doing today. So with those few words, I beg that I sit down because I have passed the message, and you read that book for yourself, and next time you'll be the one to stand here to tell us what you think about the book. Because for me, I think it is a great, profound book written by my daughter, Dr. Winnie Coco, of whom I'm very proud.
Once again,
Good evening.
I'm so happy to see all of you here today. It's such a blessing, and I chose that song to walk in with because it says ujanja wangu unapofika mwisho hapo ndipo unaanzia. If you don't understand Swahili, it means where my knowledge ends, that's where you start. In other words, that's where God starts when you come to the end of yourself. So I first of all want to thank you all for being here. I'm so glad to see all of you, and I hope that we are going to have a wonderful time. But I would first of all like to talk to you about the Elimisha Binti initiative to help us understand why we are here, and most importantly, why God put it in your heart also to attend this gala that we have here today. All right. Okay. All right. So who we are. So a long time ago, when I used to work in Kenya, I worked with girls who were deaf and hard of hearing. That was in 2009. I graduated in 2009, so that was 2010 and 2011. I worked with those girls. And one thing that was really striking was that those girls were from disadvantaged backgrounds. A lot of them were very poor. They did not have money to pay for tuition, and they would be sent home a lot of times. I was just a teacher earning $100 at that time. And one of the deaf girls came to me one time and she asked if I could help her to pay for tuition. But I couldn't because I was only earning $100. I lived in Nairobi, but I would go back to work with the girls during school vacation. And I think I used to earn $50 after teaching them for about 4 or 3 weeks. So I really didn't have enough money to pay tuition for her at that time. But God put it in my heart, and I told her, at that time, it was in my wildest dream that I can come to America. I couldn't even imagine. And so I told her, don't you worry, one day if I have money, I'll pay for your tuition. And it didn't take long. 2 years later, I found myself in the US, and I remember earning my first salary, and it was about $700 to $800 after 2 weeks of work. And I looked at it and I said, oh, I'm so rich. This is $800, and if I converted it to Kenyan shillings, it was like 100,000 shillings. And of course, I didn't have a family. Amani was not there. John was not there. There was nobody. It was just me. And so that was a lot. And the school that employed us gave us housing. We had housing and we had food. And so I wasn't really spending my money on anything. Of course, I did some investments, but really my money was free to spend. And so I texted that girl back and I told her, you know what, now I have money and I'm going to pay for your tuition. And that's how I started. But then it occurred to me after some time that it's not just her. There are so many girls like her who are going through the same things, and it was really important that we step forth, especially given that God had blessed us and we were in America. And so we wanted to step up so that we can help more girls. And after that, I approached a few friends of mine. We came together and they donate for me $5 every month. And we would send that money home to pay tuition for the girls. And then in 2012, we registered formally, and right now we are a registered non-profit in Massachusetts, and we continue to work with the girls. So that has been a journey of about 14 years since 2012, but officially since 2022. So we provide scholarships, Christian mentorship, home visits, and assistive technology, and also hygiene items. When I started also, our mentorship was not Christian. This just changed a year ago, and it changed after I had an encounter with a Christian organization that wanted to partner with us. And it just occurred to me, like, why are we not drawing these girls to God as well? And so our mission has changed a little bit, and we added Christian mentorship to it. We're going to have our first mission trip in this August. We'll go to Kenya. We're going to buy Bibles for the girls, and we'll lead them to Jesus, and we hope that they'll also spread that to the other deaf population, because they're already disadvantaged when it comes to communication, and so them accessing the gospel is really, really hard. And so we hope that with the little that we are going to do with that mission trip, we'll be able to bring a few of them to Christ. All right, next slide. So you may wonder why we focus on girls. How many of you guys are from Kenya? Almost everyone? Yeah. So as you know, our society or our community is really patriarchal. In other words, it's a society that favors boys more than girls. And deep in the villages, you find that boys are educated, but girls are left at home. And of course, because of different societal expectations and the things that the girls go through, a lot of times they just end up getting married after school. And they focus more on the boys. And so that is why we focus on the girls. And then again, looking at global gender and economic disparities, that is really prevalent and affects the females more than the males. And then these girls with disabilities, they do not just have disabilities, but these are girls who are from economically disadvantaged backgrounds. They're also discriminated, and the stigma that surrounds their lives because of their disability. There's the disadvantage of color or race. There's also the disadvantage of the disability itself. I mean, there are just so many intersectional identities that exacerbate their equal participation in society. And then we also have educational constraints and bias in curriculum and societal expectations of the girl child. Okay, next. And we focus on the rural areas because it's the rural areas that really need our support for the most part, because you find that in Kenya, parents who are living in urban areas at least have some amount of money that they can pay their children tuition with. But for the ones in the rural areas, that is really, really hard. So that is why we focus on in the rural areas. And then we also have those negative perceptions towards people with disabilities and the negative values in the culture and weak policy compliance and implementation in the rural areas. Next. And we focus on access to formal education because, again, if you go to Kenya, there are so many deaf people who do not have access to education. And research says that there are only, how many PhD holders do you think are there in Kenya? Deaf, the ones who are deaf. Yes, two. Nani huwa alipewa mwa Kenya? Yeah, there are only 2 deaf PhD holders in Kenya. And the undergraduates are only 30. So as you can see, there are very few of them who are educated. And that is why it's very, very important that we focus on them. There's also inadequate teacher training. They barely have even teachers to teach them. I have girls who go to college for the deaf and blind. The college is called Secret Technical College for the Deaf and Blind. And yet more than 3/4 of the population are hearing. And so these girls tell me every day that they go to school, there's no interpreter, and they're expected to lip read the teacher talks, and they are also expected to perform with the same standards as the other kids. So it's really hard for them. And then there's also underdeveloped identification and assessment processes, and limited monitoring and evaluation of special education policies. And the biggest one is limited funding. As you guys know, if you are in special education, it's a very, very expensive field. And so there's barely funds to educate these girls, and that is why we are coming in. All right, next. So as you can see from everything that I've spoken, there's an urgency, and we really need to come up to do our God-given mandate to support people who are less fortunate in our communities. And given the background that I've just shared with you, I think it's really, really important that we come together to see what we can do. A lot of research has been done, and one of the biggest things that still impairs their access to education is still going on. Those challenges are still going on. And that is where we come in as Elimisha Binti initiative. So we envision a world where girls and women who are deaf and hard of hearing are economically, academically, and civically empowered to promote their equal participation in the society. And our mission is to, our mission is to foster access and equity in formal education for the girls who are deaf and hard of hearing through scholarship programs and Christian mentorship. Next. And of course, we have our core values that really ground what we do. There's accountability, partnership, and compassion. But in between, we've embedded equity, access, and inclusion. In other words, we want these children to be included as much as possible, and that is only possible if they can access education. On the next slide, I just have a very short video about what we have done so far. If you want to play, there should be a play button down there.
Or doing something with this population. Do you mind sharing what your aha moment was? Anyone? Yes.
I'm a teacher,
Uh-huh.
so every day I'm a teacher in special ed, so every day I see aha moments.
Right,
Yep.
right. When we talk about special education, even for me who's walked this journey for 22 years, when Winnie told me about this and she reminded me, now I started becoming serious. And being the person I am, an educator as well, I told her, I gave her all these questions and I said, this. And one of the things I asked Winnie was, could you also send me the names of the students so I can call them? Think about that for a moment, right? How could I call them? Could I call them? No, I couldn't, right? But it never occurred to me that I couldn't call them, right? So that was an aha moment for me. So Winnie never responded to me for a while, and then I started thinking, is it because I asked that question? But later on we interacted, and it became an eye-opener for me, and it made me even much more deeply concerned about these girls and want to be a part of this movement, just to create awareness. Even though I've been in this journey of dealing with people with different abilities, I still had that aha moment recently. So it can happen to all of us. So thank you for this opportunity, and we are going to go to the next slide. And that's me when things were still rosy, and that's me in second grade. So I wanted to highlight what we say, it takes the village, right, to raise a child. These girls here consider us to be the village. In that picture, in second grade, I was given a gift for being the most hardworking student. I don't know what that means in second grade. But my dad wrote in that picture, I was looking at the back, my dad is very historical, for lack of a better word. And he said, I got that from the counselor. And in those days, counselor are very big people, right? We don't even see them, we don't even talk to them. But the counselor gave me a lunchbox. I didn't have a lunchbox, we couldn't afford a lunchbox. And this was very special and meaningful, even though I was not gonna carry food to school. But the symbol that it gave me for hard working, it pushed me. So here we are today. We can go to the next slide. That village propelled me to move further. So I continued the hard work, and I went to high school. There were challenges along the way, but when it came time to go to Alliance, my father had used all the resources. My father worked in a textile industry, and he also did security. Those of you who do security in Kenya, you know how challenging and how dangerous it can be. But my dad did whatever he could to make ends meet. My opportunity almost got lost at Alliance because I didn't have any money. My father couldn't afford it, and there's a lot of corruption in Kenya, as you guys know. If you lose the chance, there's another rich kid waiting to get that opportunity. So I couldn't afford it. My father had utilized all his funding that he had, and he had to do Harambes. You guys know what Harambe means, right? So that's Harambe. And why I bring this up is the same reason why we are here. We are kind of doing a Harambe. So you can see, I found this, my father kept these records. That's from 1993, right? And you can see something, Mildred Owino Education Fund. So they were fundraising for me, and those people, those are just some of the people. They're there trying to calculate the money that people had solicited. And the money they raised, I was able to go to Alliance, plus my dad continued the efforts, meeting different people along the way. There were so many places my father visited. And those are the people that held my father and our family together and supported us to enable me to go through Alliance. I got to school a month late. So my dorm was supposed to be a particular dorm, but because I was late, that opportunity had already been given to somebody else. So I went to a dorm where it's like the leftover people were put. So it was like a hall with beds. But if I had gone to the room where I was initially assigned, I would have had one roommate in that hall. But that never deterred me. It never even did anything to me. Now as I reflect, I think about those things. But I want to emphasize again the importance of community. If it wasn't for these people who came, gave their hard-earned money, you can see these are not wealthy people. In fact, the gentleman there is a handicapped guy. He had mobility impaired. The lady in the middle was sold matumbo. That's what she did for work. And the other lady was a teacher. Those are the people who came together to support the cause and help me get my education. So I bring this parallel again to draw the fact that the village can really do a lot. You can change one person, two person, and many people's lives. This initiative for these girls, they just remind me of myself. In fact, the picture that they show, that's the Alliance Girls uniform, except the skirt. The color, everything is the same. So I guess this was meant to be. So I thank God for that. And then I was able to, after Alliance, my father did not feel I had arrived. I was supposed to go to Maseno University, but I never did. My father was looking for other ways to send his daughter away so I could open the doors for the people who are coming behind me. I'm the firstborn, so you know the responsibility is very huge. So again, there were some funds raised. We were able to pay for me to do the TOEFL after I had applied to the college. You know, you have to do this test of English, whatever. So that's just a receipt to show my father went above and beyond to look. Those are things that he kept in his archive for memories. So we're here also to help somebody, maybe one of these girls that we're supporting, or 2 or even 10 of them. We can eventually sponsor them to come to the US. Is it possible?
Yes.
It is, right? We want them to grow, we want them to develop, we want them to make change, you know. I was very taken aback when I was doing my research a little bit. There's 430 million deaf people in the world. Did you know that?
No.
Can you tell if somebody is deaf?
No.
Can you tell? Like, they could be amongst us and we don't even know, and hence my aha moment. So there's so many of deaf people that's in the world. And also they raised 34 million children. So that's a very huge number in the world, right? So it's not a small deal. So we are only helping, I don't even know what percent that is. We're trying to help 10 girls this year. So that's not even cutting it. We are trying to help a very small percentage. So can we do it?
Yes.
Yes, we can, right? We can help these girls. So you can move to the next slide, please. So that is just my daughter. Malika is here helping us. I thank God for the blessing of children. They teach us a lot. And that's my son, Chauncey. Some of you know him. And that's my daughter, Layla. And that's Layla in the bottom there giving the commencement speech at her graduation. I wanted to draw this parallel for those of you who have gone through the special education journey. As a parent, we tend to focus on the obvious, right? The one who makes the most noise, the one who gives you the most headache, right? My son gave me the most to deal with. So I paid so much attention to my son. You see all those, the middle there is just emails, documents. That's just a snapshot of all the work that went behind helping my son. And I show that to say, I didn't do it by myself. I was either emailing somebody, I was either meeting with somebody, I was either talking to somebody, just so we can bring this son up to be who he is. And that's the same thing here. I'm sure we're writing many chapters every year. You know, year one, I think up to 2012, you've educated 12 girls, right?
20.
23. 20. That's 4 years. The average is 5 girls, right?
Yeah.
All of us, if we choose to, we could educate even more than 10 today, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's 240.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yep.
Even if we gave $30 a month, $30 a quarter, we could be sponsoring more kids, right? So it's possible. So the reason I put my daughter there one more time is because my daughter just got recently diagnosed with ADHD. I've always known my daughter to be struggling with organization, procrastination, and things like that. But I always put it aside. I was like, I didn't see it as an issue until she finished high school. When the real life comes and she couldn't function, she couldn't really attend college, she couldn't really do things in school. She started falling apart. But the thing about her is, she's a self-advocate. She sought the resources, she sought for help, she went and she looked for everything she needed and situated herself and to lead her up to this point where she became the speaker to highlight the misdiagnosis. She was actually misdiagnosed. I try to draw this parallel with the girls again. The girls that we're sponsoring are not able to communicate this type of things. The struggles they may have, the biases they may have. They probably might not even know they have a bias. They probably might not even know they have higher goals to attain because we are not communicating with them like we're communicating with the typical peers. So as you think about those type of barriers, the challenge, yes, is funding, but you can give them the funding, but if they know that they can excel, if they don't know they can excel beyond that limit, are they gonna go far?
No.
No, so we need to mentor them, right? We need to show them the possibility. We need to empower them. We need to build that in them so that they can go out. I was very disappointed to learn that during COVID, many of these people, deaf and hard of hearing, were impacted because how do we get news back in Kenya? In most cases, it's the radio, right? Or TV, right? So if you're not able to understand that language, COVID, I don't even know if they had a sign language for COVID at that